So the folk. So yeah, sorry. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Millets for Health session with Pallavi today. And I'm Ankur Bhatia. I'm co-founder for Wellcure, and I, along with my team members Tanishka and Pallavi from Millet for Health, we will be host for the session today. And I would first like to start, give you a context about what Wellcure is about, since some of you may not be aware. So we have a short video. We'll start with that, and then we'll proceed with the session. So Tanishka, you can play the video now. Yes, we will be sharing the recording of the session, but you will not get opportunity to then ask questions live from Pallavi. That's the only thing you will miss.
How to cure diabetes? Sugar or jaggery? I don't like jaggery.
Do you know what is healthy and what is not? What is natural and what is not? ये खाओ, ये मत खाओ, ये करो, ये मत करो. Confused, right? Don't eat processed foods as it has chemicals.
But raw foods have pesticides. That's why we eat only organic.
But organic is too costly, yaar. All are claiming their products to be organic. But isn't organic a bit heavy on our pockets? And then there are so many people giving us so many advices about a healthy lifestyle all the time.
I really want to lose weight. What should I do?
बेटा योगा से ही होगा.
No, go for gymming.
Think about giving a try to the keto diet. Healthy food is too boring, man.
As we think about all these questions about a healthy lifestyle, we also fall sick in the process and end up spending money on hospitals and medicines, and also bearing the side effects of the medicines. But even after doing all this, are we really sure if we are still healthy or not? In the fast-moving, busy lives, we hardly get time to take care of ourselves and live a healthy lifestyle. So we created Wellcure, India's first natural healing mobile app that helps you live a healthy lifestyle in a very simple and natural way. From the Wellcure app, you get to learn about the body's self-healing powers and what nature has designed for our good health. You get access to natural healing blogs, natural healing success stories, e-learning courses, health and detox events, and much more. Even after you learn about the body's dynamics, you will still have a lot of questions regarding your day-to-day health. Through Wellcure, you get access to a wide network of natural healing practitioners who are just a click away. Not only do they answer your queries, they also suggest ways to support your body naturally. Do you know healthy food can be tasty too? Through the Wellcure app, you can learn simple self-care hacks and recipes which are natural ingredients based, very easy to make and delicious. You can make them amidst your daily busy routines and serve them to your entire family. Isn't it great? With the Wellcure app, you can achieve all of this at an introductory offer of just ₹100 per month. So take your first step towards a healthy and natural lifestyle, reducing your dependence on medicines and disease. After all, nothing tastes as good as healthy life. Download the Wellcure app and get started on your health journey today.
So I think you would have got a little clue about what we are trying to do, and as our main motive is to to build this, as largest community in the world. And just to correct that, because this is an old video, it's right now it's free, so you can download and use the app for free, or access via website. So you know, s- talking about this session today, we millets is something which is now people think that it's a fad, but if you talk, we'll understand a little history behind it, and Pallavi will be sharing a little bit more in detail in the session today. That millet is not a fad. In fact, millet was collectively around the time of independence, when the major survey was done. One of the surveys pointed that majority of Indian population was actually consuming more millets instead of rice or wheat. So in fact, millets as collectively was the main or predominant consumption for Indian population. And because obviously for many advantages, one, we had the climate and so many varieties which were available all geographically in every area. And they were easy to grow, they were highly nutritious. Unfortunately, due to changes in the perception of people, a wrong perception which built in that millets is not, it's a poor man's grain, or things like that started floating. And people shifted towards uh, only consuming predominantly wheat and rice. And almost you can say you can draw a direct correlation between the state of health which has gone down with the reduction in consumption of millets, and increase in lifestyle disorders, or where food plays a key role. And so that's what the session will be about. And we'll also learn very new things about millets which is not unknown, which are not very commonly known. Many of us probably understand maybe bajra or jowar or ragi is the only millets which people know commonly. But there are more than 9-10 varieties, even more, but commonly 9-10 varieties which you can use, make. And also there is how to select a right millet, how to cook millets. And also we'll play one recipe from our course, so that you have something interesting to take away. So you'll understand the benefits of the millets. We'll understand how to choose millet recipe, and then we'll share about details about the program if you want to go further in the journey. So introducing the expert today, Pallavi is I would say is a multifaceted personality, because she's not only an expert about millet, how to cook them, how to make them, but she also learns runs this social enterprise millet ecosystem, whether it is supporting the farmers, supporting the middlemen, the supply chain. And also she's connected to various uh, restaurants and hotels. So she is playing a role which is not just limited to one aspect, but all the aspects from farm to your plate. So, and she has a very interesting her own journey, that how she started to shift on millets, and how she was able to transform her own health and her family's health. So I don't think you'll get a better expert who not only lives a millet based lifestyle, but also is doing a fantastic work in this social space. And also a very innovative, I would say, expert in this space. I don't think there's any dish, whether it's an ice cream or a cake or a cookie or a pasta, which she can't make it with millets. She always keeps researching recipes. So without further delay, I would like to hand over the session to you, Pallavi. Welcome to the session. Thanks. So Pallavi, you want us to project the screen, or you're able to manage?
I think maybe if you can project it, that will be easier.
Okay, fine. Tanishka, can you project the her PPT?
Right. So I'll just, while the PPT is being projected, hi everybody. Welcome to today's session on what millets can do for us and what millets are. I'm really happy to have all of you here today to share more about something that I personally feel very strongly about. And there's a reason why I feel so strongly about it. So, I have my own journey with millets. I started consuming them maybe, so I was consuming them on and off about from like 2011 onwards. But in 2013, so I was expecting my daughter, and I got this, diagnosed with gestational diabetes. And what happened was that we went and we visited the doctor, and they were like, monitor. This was very early in the pregnancy, too, almost in the second month, which basically means that I have a tendency towards type 2 diabetes because I have a family history, and that's why I got it at that time. And because of the gestational diabetes, it can have an impact on the growing baby. The doctors advised me that why don't you just monitor your sugar levels for a week after every meal, and then we'll decide how much medication you need. And eventually many people, they have to go on insulin for this through the pregnancy. My husband and I, we were not very sure whether we wanted to go down that path, but of course we also didn't want to take a chance. So we started reading up a little more, doing a little more research, and turns out uh, eating millets and whole grains can have a very significant impact on the body. And so I started experimenting a little more with millets, and I was extremely careful with it. I used to monitor my sugars after 1 hour after every meal, making sure that everything was in check, that we weren't taking any chances. But I managed the entire duration of my pregnancy on a millet based diet and brisk walking. These are the two things that I did. And my sugar was, I mean, of course, it wasn't on control on its own, but by doing these two things, I didn't have to take even one dose of any sort of medication. So we realized how powerful food is and what a strong impact it can have on the body. And prior to this also, were doing some work. My husband was doing some work with millet farmers through his enterprise, and we decided it was time to bring these to the market. So being a part of our own lifestyle for 2-3 years, from 2013 to 15, 16, my daughter, when she was born, I weaned her off on millets because we realized how amazing they are for children's growth and bone health and all of that. We decided it was time to bring it to the market, especially considering in North India at that point of time, not many options were available. So hence Millets for Health was born. And of course, when we started selling the products, we also realized that people didn't know what they were, how to cook with them, and how to just generally include them in their diets. Most people knew very boring ways of eating millets, and we found that the uptake wasn't really happening, which is why we started doing things like this, like cooking workshops and sessions, and just making people more aware about millets. So is my voice clear, Tanishka? I saw a couple of comments about it breaking.
No, it's clear now. It's clear now.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
think it's
So can we move on to the next slide, please? So what are millets? Millets are basically a group of highly variable small-seeded grasses. They were widely grown for food and fodder, like as Ankur was mentioning. In the early 1960s, like just pre-Green Revolution, during that time, almost 70% of the country was growing and consuming millets, which basically means that they were staple in a large part of the country. The perception is that only certain pockets, right now, a lot of people think that only the South used to have millets. That's not true. All kinds of millets were grown across the entire length and breadth of the country. The names may be different vernacularly. They are known by different names in different regions. But when you go and you talk to people, there's just such a wealth of information. In fact, and I'm tempted to share this. We will be sharing the video a little later. We were in rural Bihar very recently. I interacted with some farmers. They came up with such interesting things. So I don't know if I remember it correctly. So there was one saying, so a farmer shared some sayings with us. One was about how you should consume different types of millets, and one was about how in all kinds of weather, like, so he was talking about one of the millets, and that, you know, if it keeps raining or whether it doesn't rain, the millet will grow in these many number of days. That's exactly what the translation was. And one was about, so I'll just say if I remember it correctly. So this is in Bhojpuri. It said Madua mean. So Madua is, you know, finger millet or ragi. So Madua with fish, apparently, which is what their traditional combination used to be. So Madua mean, Chin sang dahi, I think. So with proso millet, maybe dahi, kodo ke bhaat, doodh sang sahi. So kodo along with milk. So that is how they traditionally used to consume it. So this is, so when we go back, there's just such a wealth of information. So I encourage all of you to also go back, talk to your families, talk to elders who are still there, and they may be able to come up. So if you find out the vernacular names, you know, do discuss and get back to us. I would be very interested to know any stories. I'm sorry for this little digression. I was very tempted to share it. Now, of course, moving on to the health aspects of millets. So, you know, they were grown in quantities comparable to rice in that decade, but now they are less than 1/10. Of course, in the last few years, there's been, you know, a renewed interest in millets, and people are reviving it and talking about it. Next slide, please. So what are the different types of millets? Millets can basically, there are more than 200 plus varieties and more still being discovered. But we can, 9 varieties are popularly sort of commercially available in the country right now. And they can be categorized into major millets and minor millets. Major millets also because, so they, you know, they were grown predominantly and they were easily available. So these are Madua or Ragi. Ragi is also known as Madua in Hindi. Ragi is the Kannada name. So Ragi, Bajra and Jwar. These three are called the major millets. They are naked grains. So, you know, they don't have a husk, which is indigestible. They can be directly ground into flour. You can sprout them. You can break them down and make it into a dalia, rava, etc. And they don't need to be processed a lot after harvest. They just need basic cleaning. And you know, these three are known as major millets. So they are easier to process. So they were also, we continue to you know, grow them a little more. That's why they are a little more popular than the others. Then the other category is minor millets. These millets basically, they have an outer coat which is indigestible. We will probably see some pictures later on. So the indigestible seed coat cannot be digested. That needs to be dehulled, much like paddy rice or white rice. You know, jo dhan ka chawal hota hai. So that needs dehusking of the outer seed coat, and then you come to the inner coat. They of course became unpopular because there was a lot of work involved in dehulling the millets. You know, women had a lot of physical manual labor to dehull it. It was very hard. And there were several other socio-economic reasons. They used to grow in poor soils and bad soils. So they were food of the poorest of the poor. So there was also that, you know, the socio-economic stigma attached to them. Wheat and rice were considered as more refined food. So more people wanted to move on to eating wheat and rice. And slowly and steadily, millets sort of disappeared from our plates. So these out of the 6 varieties that are available, they are minor millets. Next slide, please. So these 3 are the major millets. Now they can be used as they are. So the top one is ragi or madwa, then there is bajra, and there is jwar. So these 3 can be sprouted in the seed form. You can recognize them from the pictures. They can be sprouted, they can be made into atta, they can be made into dalia, etc. Next. So this is one of the millets. I've given an example here with the pictures. You see the top one is a millet with the seed coat. You cannot digest it. So even when you feed these kind of millets like foxtail millet and all, is also fed to the birds. Even if you feed this to the bird, the seed form, even the birds will leave the outer seed coat and they will consume what is inside. Try feeding foxtail millet seeds to a bird and see what it does. So the birds also know that you cannot digest the seed coat. A lot of people ask me that, you know, we are getting this millet with the hull. Maybe if we grind it directly into flour, then we can just use it like that, even if we can't cook it like rice. So, but what I advise against it, because when you grind it into flour directly with the seed coat, that's the quantity of fiber that's there, including the seed coat, is too high for human digestion. So you must always consume the millet in the bottom form, which is dehusked. So you should not be having millets which are not dehusked. But at the same time, they should be dehusked, but they should be unpolished. So in the bottom one, you see that the millet is slightly brownish. If this is white, then that means that the bran has also been removed while dehusking. The bran should not be removed. So we should make sure to retain the bran of the millet while we're consuming it. Next slide, please. Why should we eat millets? There are several benefits of eating millets. Of course, there are environmental, ecological, and farmer livelihood reasons too. They grow in poor soils. They don't require a lot of maintenance. They take extremely less water. They are being touted as the next climate resilient crops. So if you want your food to make an impact on the environment and farmers' lives, then definitely millets are the way to go. The other aspect, of course, is something that we are all interested in, which is health. So because of the high fiber content, and as Ankur was saying earlier, the amount of fiber that we've been eating has considerably lowered over the decades. And proportionately, we've seen a rise in cases of a lot of lifestyle diseases, even cancer, and a lot of other things that have continued to be on the rise. A large portion of this can be attributed to reducing fiber in our diets. Fiber basically helps in cleansing the system. It's an extremely important component of food, which is why we should make sure to slowly and steadily reintroduce fiber into our diets. So don't do it all of a sudden, but do start in, consuming grains and foods which are higher in fiber. Because of being high in fiber, millets are also complex carbohydrates. So they are carbs, but because of the fiber content is higher, they are complex carbs. They break down slowly in our system, so they don't spike blood sugar. They in fact help in maintaining it. Millets give sustained energy over a longer period, so they help in maintaining the sugar levels. All millets are gluten free. All the 9 varieties are gluten free, and they are all alkaline. So wheat and rice are slightly acidic grains, but millets they are all alkaline. So they are, our body needs almost 80% of alkalizing foods. So millets are alkaline, and they fit the bill there too. And they protect us from various diseases and lifestyle disorders, including cancer. Next slide, please. So we've just talked about some of this. They're anti-diabetic, they reduce oxidative stress, they have anti-cancer properties, they're anti-hypertensive, prevent coronary heart disease, of course, and they prevent and help in weight loss, and they help in reduction of obesity, etc. They have a higher, hunger satisfaction index. And, we are not just saying these, they are in fact now scientific documented studies proving all of this, including the anti-hypertensive reduction of cholesterol, the fiber reducing diabetes. People are reducing diabetes, even going off medication completely. The iron, iron deficient anemia, if anybody has consumption of millets, has shown to be an extremely positive impact. There, next slide, please. So I'll just continue on the health benefits for a little bit more. They are also extremely good for children. They have been known to encourage growth up to 50% in children who are on a millet-based diet as compared to other diets. You can see the nutritional charts here and see just a significantly high value of fiber in millets as compared to wheat and rice, which you can see in the bottom of 2 categories. And just the fiber, calcium, the amount of calcium in ragi, you can see it's much higher than any other grains, higher than even milk itself. Iron content in millets, protein content in millets. So it's significantly higher than what we are generally used to eating, which is, makes a very strong case nutrition wise. And, the more diverse our diet is, the more diverse our nutrition is, the more functional our body is. Our body needs different kinds of nutrients from different kinds of foods. And if we increase the diversity in our platters, if we increase the diversity in our nutrition, then, thereby we are preventing a lot of diseases for our body and giving it the energy and the fuel that it really needs. Next slide, please. So millets versus grains, of course, they have higher protein, more fiber, higher nutrition density, they are alkalizing. So we've covered this, but if we compare it to the other grains, then much more for every spoonful that you're eating. Who can eat millets? Just about anyone. For younger kids, infants and toddlers, they are high on essential micronutrients. It boosts physical and mental growth. Like I said, 50% more growth. There's a documented study. For children and teenagers, and the earlier you introduce these to them, the better it is, because it shouldn't happen the way it happened with us, right? That we grow up eating only 2 grains and that's what we know, and including anything else is a huge adjustment. So the younger you can feed the children, the more they know at a younger age that, there's more to food than just wheat and rice. Then they get used to all kinds of food. And so it must be part of the family meal. It must be part of everybody's meal, and it can be done. So our workshop and e-learning platforms, so in the e-learning course, we teach you how to do really interesting things. So how to do desserts with millets, how to do pasta with millets, how you can do a ragi dosa, which is really, really tasty for children, how you can make a roti. So we teach you so many different things, which makes it easy to include it into the diet of your entire family. And that's what's extremely crucial and important. It shouldn't be that, one member of the family is eating it. And then, people start viewing it as, bimaron wala khana. या बच्चों को ले दे रहे हैं तो खाली वो बच्चे के ग्रोथ के लिए है, and it's not suitable for others. That's not true. Millets need to form a part of the family's platter, and you will see, trust me, you will see immediately what you will start seeing: reduction in lethargy, increase in energy levels, and gradually, if there is any lifestyle disease, you will see a reduction in a lot of issues. You will see an impact on children's growth. In fact, it is also, for young children, it's literally what they eat is what they become. So it is important for their physical as well as mental development that we feed them the right kind of food. For adults, if you're eating this in lifestyle, the kind of lifestyle we lead today, we need to be eating foods which work for us. So food that is smart, and literally millets fit the bill like nothing else does. So millets are literally smart food, and they are working for you along with the work that you're doing for yourself. So you need the food to work for you as well, and millets do that. For women, after a certain age, our iron needs, our calcium needs, of course, they are high in general, but after a certain age, instead of popping those supplement pills, if you try to include maybe some sprouted ragi in your diet, some iron rich millets, B vitamins, which are also very high in millets, it does give you that variety. For elderly also, they are extremely good because they are alkaline and they're easy to digest. What we need to know is the ways in which they can be fed. Somebody asked a question about seasons. So in terms of seasonality, all millets can be had in all seasons and they can be easy to digest, but we need to know how to treat them. So, our workshop, it also does that, maybe in some weathers it should be fermented, you should have it maybe like in a soup, or maybe have it in a smaller quantity along with something else, what you should be pairing it with. So that's what's important when we are eating millets, but they can be fitted into anybody's lifestyle, and they should, no matter what the age group. Next, please. Tips to buy the right quality. This is also extremely important. If you're going through the trouble of including millets in your diet, make sure that you buy the right quality of millets. So this is just one slide which shows you examples of unpolished and polished millet. Again, this is little millet, the one we saw earlier. On your right is little millet, which is dehulled but unpolished. This is the ideal color of little millet. The millets which are most prone to polishing are kodo, little, and barnyard. If any of these three, you find them to be white in color, as you can see on the left, please don't buy this, because if they are white, they are polished, and all the nutrient value is being removed from the millet, because the bran contains most of the fiber, most of the nutrition. So you should be extremely careful about, what kind of millets that you're buying. Next slide, please. Also extremely important is the quality in terms of what is there in the dehulled millet. So this is foxtail millet from some other brand, and we found a lot of contamination. You can see some with millet seeds, some with polished millets, and some with cross contamination of rice and some stones. So make sure that you spend that 5 rupee, 10 rupee extra on the millet, but make sure that you get the right quality, because if you're eating something with a high quantity of the seed itself, then that, like I said, the seed is the outer seed coat is not digestible. So you should be eating millets which are easy for digestion, and they should be, the quality should be good. So eat something which is evenly dehulled, less seed coat, less unpolished millet contamination, all of that. So of course, in terms of brand recommendations, certain people are asking We have our own brand. It's Millets for Health. You can see the logo on the top right of Millets for Health. And we are very particular about where we get it from. Our flours are ground fresh. They're ground fresh on order. And we have a wide range of products. Our website will be also up and live by maybe the end of April. But in the meanwhile, through Wellcure, we do have a system where you can buy from us and we can provide a certain discount to everybody that comes to us through Wellcure. We have a catalog which is available. We can share our catalog link. We are also listed on Amazon. And our products are great quality. We have a lot of different types of millets. All the millets, we have millet suji, we have millet pohas and snacks, and we even do breads and batters. We have papads and we have noodles, etc. coming up soon. So all your millet needs under one umbrella is what we position ourselves as. And our social enterprise, which was found in 2016 to bring millets to you, also sources directly from farmers, farmer producer groups, and now some self-help groups and other aggregators who are committed to bring to you the right quality of produce, and also something from which the benefit is directly going back to people who need it and supporting the farmers. So this is, I recommend our brand. Yes, our millet products are completely unpolished. I support unpolished millets only, and that's the only thing that we provide. And all our millet products are made from further value added products are also made from unpolished millets only. Of course, going back to the slide, what are the challenges? Of course, soaking time, because there are different types of millets. So the major millets can be used like, roti and dalia, etc. Minor millets are more, suitable for rice. But the minor millets, they're all different in sizes. So different millets, they need different water quantities. Some need 3 times, some need 3.5 times, some need 2.5 times. So you need to know that. That's very important. Millets need to be cooked properly. You shouldn't undercook them, but at the same, because that may cause digestion issues because they are high in fiber. But you shouldn't overcook them either. So overcooking should also be avoided of millets. How to make rotis and dosas. You need specific techniques on how to make fluffy rotis with millets without adding any heat. Of course, with time, you also realize what are the different millets and which is the right dish to what kind of millet. So that's something that I have done with time and I bring to you in the course. So, you don't need to spend so much time learning that. When you do the course, you realize that what are the different millets and which ones are better suited for what kind of dishes and what kind of recipes can we make with different kinds of millets. These are just some examples. There's upma, there's idli, there's muffins, and there's salad, pulao. This is our health mix made into the chaach. So you can really just cook right about anything with millets. Next slide. Again, some more examples. There's like a pie, ragi dosa, pancake, lemon rice, there's tikki. There's just, millets are very, very versatile in nature and you can just cook right about anything. There's somebody who's asking what is to be used for binding with millet flour. You don't need anything to bind with millet flour. You just need to know the right technique. So we have a roti making module in our workshop, which you can, learn from there. You just need to know the techniques. There's nothing in some things like pasta, you may need some additives for it to bind together. But in roti, you really don't need to add anything. It can be just the millet flour with the right technique. Maybe, Karishma, I know there were several questions. I've also answered them. I answered them in the session, Tanishka. Maybe we can
Sure.
go over remaining slides and I can answer some of the questions later.
Yeah. So I think now we'll play the one of the recipe and
Yes.
then we'll share the program details. So I think, the anyone wants to, put up a challenge. She is Pallavi is always very happy that if someone says, okay, this dish, can you make it in millet? And I know, she has made ice cream. She has made, so many things. I don't think there is any wheat ice cream, but she can make ice cream with, millets. So the thing is that the message is that millets is good for our health. Millet is great for environment, and millet is is as versatile as you can, more versatile, I would say, more than any other grain. So it's a win-win, both for socially, environmentally, and for our health. So now we'll play one of the recipes from the course. So yeah, Tanishka, you can now play the recipe. So I think a few people are asking for discount and other things. So as Pallavi said, you can go to Amazon and order. But people who are part of the alumni group, they get special offers. First some of the first as Pallavi is releasing the product, so she keeps sharing. Sometimes products, not every product may be accessible or available on Amazon. But once you are there in that private, group we have, you'll get access to all those things. So we'll share the details about that group also. Yeah, Tanishka, you are able to play. Is there any challenge?
Can we take some questions in the meanwhile then?
Yeah, or what I can do is I will probably, is it'll be good that we share the details of the program in,
Yes.
and then
Yeah.
we can take up the
Sure.
questions. So
Sure.
Tanishka, just prompt me when you're ready so that we can do it. Just hold on. Yeah,
Okay, sir. It might take a while actually.
yeah, sure. I'll then complete the course sharing and then you share the recipe. Okay. So, the course which we have on offer is it has 3 modules, as Pallavi is watching, whether it's whether it's you want to make a roti or a bread. So, and all types of things have been covered. So we have covered like making in North India, we make a chapati or a fulka. So that is being covered. And then those people who want to make like a dosa or a a pancake kind of a thing, that has been covered. We have covered the bread also, and akki roti, which is very popular down south. So all the varieties of rotis and breads is covered. And just I would like to emphasize that this is not like a typical recipes videos which you see on YouTube, because what Pallavi has taken care of is to make sure that uh, recipes are shared in a manner that you learn the techniques. So once you learn how to make a dosa or a fulka, you can make with other millets. And she's also recommended which millets is appropriate for both. Then we have the meal bowls, or where we have covered about paneeram, little middle, it's a big shepherd's pie, salad, pulao, and brown top fermented ambali. So ambali is not just a normal dish. It's like a fermented khichdi, if I may put it simply, but it has a lot of very profound healing properties. So someone who's recovering, who want to specifically work on the system, then it's a great recipe. And then we have desserts. Again, in desserts we have covered whatever variety we could research and found, whether it's laddus, whether it is cake, or barfi, kheer, cookies. So again, the variety. So the objective is through these 15 20 recipes which are there, you should be practically able to make every thing uh, in terms of what we need. Pasta is also covered. Now what you'll get, obviously you'll get detailed recipe videos. There is a separate section where Pallavi has shared about in depth about the fundamentals, the varieties, which she has touched upon the session today. We have the recipe ebook, and we are also offering bonus recordings of her live sessions. which includes additional recipes, which is one is on snacks, and one is on South Indian millet cooking. So almost, I think, close to 30 odd recipes you will get in the program. Two through Zoom recordings. Two Zoom recordings has close to 5-10 recipes, and then around 15-20 recipes are there in the program itself. So um, so we've covered all the aspects, from making them, tips, FAQs. So that is there, and you also get certificate. And one thing which we have recently added is the club, which I was talking about. So what does this club means? It's a support club. So you know people say, okay, I can see, buy a recipe book, or I can go and watch YouTube video. There's so much of content. Why should I pay for it? So the reason is that no one will support you hands-on like you'll get in the program support. So if you're stuck in any recipe or any query you have, Pallavi is there to answer your queries. So that is, that cannot be put, the value can't be put, but you can say it is, worth a lot of support, and it helps you keep on the path, keep growing, because some expert is there to guide you through the process, where techniques and processes are shared through videos, but then you have hands-on community support. As I mentioned, that you'll get exclusive discount on the Millet products by virtue of being part of this community, and also future Wellcure programs. And so just to explain what is there in the offer, you get the course, you get the 4 ebooks. They're all millet based, 3 millet based ebooks and 1 juices and smoothies ebook from Wellcure side. And then you obviously get 2 recordings which I was sharing. And the price for all of this put together is $799. And but this price is only accessible, available to people who come for the webinar, and only valid for till 23rd of March. So that's what I wanted to share. So now we'll play. Tanishka, is the recipe ready now? Can we play?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll play the recipe and then we will take up the questions. And Tanishka also put up the message in the group about the link where people can pay. I'll project the screen again once the recipe have been played. Yeah, over to you, Tanishka. You can now play the.
Now, using the same batter, I'm also going to show you how to make another South Indian dish. This is paniyaram in Tamil, paddu in Andhra, and it's called by different names in different southern states. We are going to use a cast iron pan, and this has different, this has about 7 cavities. And this is what we are going to use to make the paddu. I am going to add some things to this to make it a little more flavorful. So I'm adding salt, some turmeric. If you have access to fresh turmeric, you can even add grated turmeric to this. I'm going to add onions. So the batter is the same. We are just making other additions to this. It's the same batter that we used for making our ragi dosa. And dhania. Just going to mix the whole thing together. And we are heating up our paniyaram pan. These are fairly delicious. So these are the savory version that I'm making. You can even make a sweet version by adding jaggery and other things to it, to the mix. So this is our mix. It's slightly yellowish. You can even add green chilies to this if you want to make this spicy. or any other vegetables. If you're trying to hide vegetables and feed them to your children, this is also a good way of doing it. You can add grated veggies to this. Now, in the paniyaram pan, I'm going to take about 1 spoon of oil and just, a few drops in every cavity. It doesn't really need more than that. This pan is also an excellent way if you're making koftas and other things. This is a very, very good way to use very less oil and skip the deep frying. You can make your lauki, kela and all other koftas and other things in this pan as well. It's an excellent investment to have. So you get 2-3 different varieties. You get like a flat bottom one, which is what this is, and it works very well across induction. The other ones, they tend to wobble a bit, so try to get a flat bottom one. And when you look it up online, you will get a lot of non-stick varieties. Please don't buy them. Invest in a nice cast iron pan. It'll be for life. I have two, so I have this and I have another one which my mother-in-law gave me, and it's been with her for forever. So it's a good investment to make. Okay. So I have to wait for the oil to heat up. So I'm just checking to see if the oil has heated up. Almost done. Take a small spoon for this. And you don't have to fill it all the way to the top. Do leave a little bit of space. These are really delicious and an excellent way to feed your family millets, and everyone loves it. So this was on high heat till now. I'm just going to reduce the heat to a bit, cover it, and let it cook. When there are just a few uncooked bits remaining, I'm going to use this knife to just turn them. You can also use a fork. This is one of those lemon cutting knives that I find very. Okay, so this is almost done. I'm going to just see that you can see that a little bit of the uncooked bit is remaining on top. So I'm going to turn it at this stage. If you can turn them even sooner than this, if you get so skilled at it, then you will get really nice rounded ones. And a cast iron one, once it's seasoned, will not stick. The important thing is to learn how to manage the temperatures. So, it has to heat up and the oil has to be hot before you pour in your batter, and then you reduce the heat and cover it. So if the pan is not hot enough, and if you've done it before it's hot, then also it tends to stick. And do use the oil in this. So after the first one, you'll need to use very, very little. Even in the first one, you saw that I used only 1 spoon. It was not like a heaped spoon. It was not full. I used only 1 spoon for all the 7. So I'm gonna twist it around on the side, comes off, and then turn it. And I'm gonna cook the other side as well, nice and crisp. And so when you see that only a little bit of uncooked is remaining on top, then you turn it, then it cooks all the way through. So there's nothing that's raw in this, and it tastes really, really good. Serve it with any chutney of choice. You can serve it with a peanut chutney, or it goes even with a green spicy chutney, a nariyal chutney. It's very, very delicious. So our paniyarams are cooked. Now we are quickly going to put them on our plates. What we usually do in our house is that the first day the batter is made, typically we use it to make idli, because idlis are best with freshly made batter and freshly ground and fermented batter. So the first day typically goes for idli. The second day, when the batter is a little sour, not a lot, we use it for dosa. And then the third day, when even the dosa will be more sour for our taste than we would like, then we use it to make the paniyarams. So, Just use the same batter for all the three purposes as well.
So thanks, Tanishka. So I'll just project the payment slide and we put the message also, and then I will take up the question. You can scan the code and make the payment. You'll get access within, within 24 hours, because once we get the lot and then we give the manual access. So don't worry, you'll get access within, if you pay today, maybe today evening or by tomorrow, first up, you will get the access to the program. So I'll just take up the few questions. Yes, so I'll first take up, the last set of questions. So first one is this, this is one course. No, in a way, yes, this is one course, but as I said, there are two more live session, recordings which are included in it, which are almost 2 hours each. So almost the content you have is, 5+ hours. And we've already shared the details. We'll share the brochure also, which has list of all the recipes and the other details. So Tanishka, please share that in the WhatsApp groups as well, so that people, so I'll go through what is included. Just hold. So this is an overview of, what is included. We have brown top, ambli, we have, healing pilaf, paniyaram, you've already seen. We have, dosa, salad, these are the desserts, which are there. This is a self-paced, online course. So the video which you saw was just one of the videos which was there. So like this, you have multiple detailed videos. In addition to this, there are certain knowledge videos which are there, and FAQs as well. So it's a quite comprehensive. We don't think you need more. And as I said, in addition to this, you have two hours recording. So almost 4 hour additional content is there. And in April we are planning to update the course. So those who buy now, you'll also get the benefit of having more updated content to it. So for all other courses, for Millets, this is the course, and there are few live courses which keeps on happening, every month. So you can check out our website on wellcure.com, and you'll find, more about it. Okay, so now then we have the other question that yes, the membership in the club membership is only available to product participants, and it is lifetime. So don't worry on that. They expect, because we want you to be on the journey always. And now we'll just taking up the question. So just hold on. I think many questions were answered. I'll still pick
Ankur,
up.
I made a note of some of the general, questions that were asked repeatedly. Can I just
Sure,
address them first, and in the meanwhile, you can see if there's anything that's missed out,
sure,
then I
sure.
can address that.
Yeah. If there's
So,
anyone missed, we'll pick it up. Yeah.
yeah. So one of the things that people were asking is, can I eat it for dinner? Can I eat it every day? So I would like to address that. You can eat millets every day, and you can eat them for all meals. But my recommendation is that if you're just starting to reintroduce millets back into your diet, then take it slow, because see, our body needs that fiber, and our body is not used to eating it so much. So if all of a sudden you include it in all three meals, then it may come as a surprise to your system, and you may have some impacts which you are not envisioning. So start by one meal a day. When you're increasing fiber in your diet, please increase your water intake. Soak the millets at least for 2 hours before consuming them, and consequently your body will also tell you that you need to drink more water. So you should, if you're increasing fiber, increase your intake of water proportionately. And of course, in the summer months, you need to be careful about that. But you can have it every day. Just gradually build it up. So have it once a day, maybe 3 times a week. Have it once a day, then all days a week, and then have a variety of millets. Don't just stick with just one variety of millet. Have like different types. So at least 2 to 3 millets you should make sure that you start off with, and then try to include more in different ways. So in our house, what we do is we have millets almost in 2 meals a day, or sometimes even 3 meals a day, but then we have it in different ways. And sometimes, so in the morning maybe it's dosa, in the afternoon maybe it's like a rice form, in the evening sometimes it just goes into the porridge. So we just have it in different ways, but don't do it all of a sudden, gradually. So it has to be a gradual journey. Then you will also know what's suiting you, what are the quantities. So again, another question that was there is how much quantity. In terms of quantity, if you're eating like 1 full cup of rice, then you need to eat only half a cup of millet. So the quantity is lesser. Why? Because it's more nutrient dense, it's more fiber dense. So a smaller quantity will fill you up. Also, it will sustain you for longer. A smaller quantity is also more nutritious, and it gives you much more for what you eat. So a 1 cup of rice and half a cup of millet, if you compare nutritionally, it's much more. So you need to eat lesser. What happens with many people is that they eat more quantity than they should, and they feel it's not getting digested. That's not what's happening. It's getting digested, but it's just that you've eaten more than you should in one particular meal. So it's because it breaks down slowly, it's digesting slowly. So, but it's alkaline and it's actually easily digestible. So the mark of digestion is that you shouldn't be constipated, you shouldn't have loose motions, you shouldn't have gastric issues, and all of that will disappear. It's just that you need to monitor your quantities that you're eating. For anybody who's diabetic and who's taking it, trust me, it will make your dependence on medicines go away. But of course, if you're including millets in your diet and if you're diabetic, monitor your sugar levels carefully, because what happens is that you may need to reduce your medication, because the millets will also help you in reduction of your sugar levels. So you shouldn't drop and all of that. So do monitor your
So
sugar.
just to add to
Yeah, please go ahead.
sorry, Pallavi, to interrupt, but just to add to the diabetic, question. So what happens is that when you include, millets in your diet, the fiber content is, as Pallavi shared, is high. So what starts to happen is that due to that, the amount of sugar which is released post, digestion, it's reduced. It is, really, one, less sugar is, released, and second, it is released in a slower pace. So that gives your pancreas more time to release, insulin, and hence it is recommended by many nutritionists and many health coaches and some of the doctors now to include, millets. So it is medically or nutritionally good for diabetics. Only thing,
Definitely.
as Pallavi said, you need to monitor your diet, because it is benefiting. So if you're taking diabetic medication which is reducing sugar, and on top of it you're taking diet which is reducing sugar, then you may become hypoglycemic. So that's the only thing. So it's
So monitor
positive.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
monitor it.
So monitor it,
And
but
yeah.
you're in your journey in general, this will go a long way in taking you off your dependence on medicine and managing your sugars naturally.
Yeah. And
So
people, who have like some advanced condition, the few question related to thyroid, gallbladder, till now there is no adverse, reports related to, millet consumption. In fact, it is positive only. But for that, we would recommend that you just take an opinion of a medical expert, that if can we include, because I don't see any reason if you are including millet and, oh, so wheat and rice, you can't have millet. So there is nothing like that. But
and
yeah,
people with many conditions are generally advised to go off gluten. Yes, and
yes.
somebody said doctors hardly know it. That's true. Try to find a doctor who supports your journey with nutrition, along with that of just dependence on medicines. Although it's hard, but if you may be advised to find somebody like that who can support your nutrition journey along with it also, because food can definitely have a very, very strong role to play in disease management and reduction.
And you can reach out to Wellcure. We have health coaches, who are well aware about, how to make this transition. And we have some of the naturopaths and doctors on board. So you
Definitely.
can reach out to us.
So,
Pallavi, there
but
was question on the season also, particularly the
yes,
summer
so no, I
season.
have it noted down. So I was just going
Okay,
to go to
fine.
the seasonality also. Seasonality basically, see, millets are basically they can be eaten in all seasons. There is a perception specifically relating to bajra in the north, that bajra cannot be eaten in the summer. But just so you know, in Tamil Nadu, when it's very hot, they have a porridge called kambukur, which is a fermented bajra porridge, and it's supposed to be cooling for the body. Even in Rajasthan, they have something called as bajre ki rabdi, which is again a fermented bajra dish, which they drink in the morning. Farmers have it, and it keeps the body cool. So it's really not the grain so much. It's about how you're consuming it, what you're cooking it with, how you're, whether it's being fermented or it's being cooked with cooling spices or it's paired with something that's cooling. All of that is very, very important in the journey of, consuming millets and including them. That being said, start with one millet at a time, consume it, see what kind of impact it has on you, because individual constitution also needs to be considered. But, they can be had in all seasons. In the summers, fermentation is ideal. Somebody had asked, can all millets be fermented? Yes, all millets can be fermented. So the ambali recipe that is there is a millet standalone fermented recipe. They can also be fermented in idli dosa. And there are several drinks which have like fermented millet things. Then there was a question on mixed millets, that we shouldn't mix millets. So the thing is that any grain, digestion times for all grains or millets or anything is different. What happens is that when we mix grains, our system gets very confused, because something gets digested and something else will not get digested, and that does lead to gastric issues. So ideally, in an ideal world, it is not advised, and especially if you're trying to reverse a disease or doing something like that, then mixing is definitely not advisable. But that being said, for somebody who's starting out on the journey, you want to make it about the whole family, you want everybody to have it, doing, mixing one or two at a time to achieve a level of taste or palatability, it's better than eating like a heavy rice based or a wheat based or a maida based meal. So, that initial transition that you're trying to make, and it's my personal opinion and people may disagree with it, I say that do mix, but just, mix one or two, don't mix too many at a time, and gradually move on to a stage where you don't have to mix. In fact, most of the recipes that we have done here are not mixed, maybe one, maybe mixed or so. So just, it's just one step at a time. Like, a lot of people, who can eat wheat, I say that, you keep your grains, the flour separately, do wheat and jowar mixing at one time, don't mix all of them together and make a roti. And then gradually move on to reducing the quantity of the wheat and increasing the quantity of the millet, so that it's an easy transition for everybody. And that's my advice. So we've covered seasonality, quantity, how much can you eat. Our storefront and catalog, we'll share with you. Ankur, can we share like the Amazon storefront and the catalog link with people?
Yes, we'll share that in the group.
Our catalog has a wider selection. We offer everything from, we have a WhatsApp catalog. Soon this will be transitioned onto a website. End of April is our deadline, and you will be able to see everything very easily. For right now, it's offered on the WhatsApp catalog. We have everything. We have sprouted flours. We have noodles and pasta coming up early next month. We have papads, we have rava, we have poha, some snacks, laddus. So we have just a lot of variety. We even do breads and burger buns and pizza bases for the Delhi NCR audience. So it's, there for everyone. So these are the things that we have on offer. Somebody asked that I mixed ragi and, foxtail millet. Like I said, that's okay for beginners. But, if you want, you can do just a foxtail millet recipe using the same recipe that we've covered. So instead of the proportion of ragi that I've added, that can be completely removed, and you can add just foxtail millet, or just any one type of millet in that recipe, and that's easily done. Somebody was just asking all of a sudden why there is so much of noise about millets. I think it's great that there is this noise about millets, because it used to be our staple food. This is what we used to be consuming 30 years ago, 40 years ago, and all of us who are working in this millet movement have been trying to bring it to the mainstream. Now, of course, there's more noise about it. Next year, 2023, at India's behest, the United Nations has declared it the International Year of Millets, which is why you may be seeing now a lot more, because the government has stepped in. There's a lot more. We are being positioned as, millet suppliers to the world. The Indian government also makes it, they want to support people eating millets, people growing millets, and people selling millets. So there is, of course, a lot of noise around that ecosystem, which is why you may be hearing more about this.
Thanks. That's great. So, just to add to what Pallavi said, see, the idea of the course is not just to sell you recipes or anything. Idea is to build this community wherein we can keep supporting, because if you are able to incorporate in your lifestyle, then you'll understand it, much better. And other thing is, regarding the products and other things which is available. So, there's this famous, Chinese proverb, just don't, give fish to a person, but eat them, how to do the fishing. So that's what the intention of this program is. So by if you are getting products, yes, you can always buy, but if you know how to use them, then you get maximum benefit. And no retailer, no one, no YouTuber will support you for your queries the way Pallavi would be does in the program. And other thing is that that it is very important that because everyone is not aware, very few, as I said in the beginning, except ragi or maybe one or two millets, no one is even aware that so many varieties exist, how to make them. So it is a, I would say, a universe in itself. And one can progress quite well for the health. So I think we'll now over shoot the time, but we'll keep doing these sessions in once a month, so you can join in the next session. And I'll just go through the program just quickly once again, and then we'll be anyway sharing the link of the session. So these are the modules which is available. As I said, everything from starting from the morning till your desserts, salads, and main meals, everything is covered. You're getting the fundamental knowledge, FAQs, and 4+ hours of bonus content, and 4 ebooks, which is there, all 3 millet based and 1 non-millet based. And you are also getting the Millet Club membership, as well as lots of support which is available. And one thing I think, just if I could have missed it, all the recipes in this program are whole plant based, so we've not used milk or milk products in it. And by default, being a millet, and in none of the recipes wheat, right, we have not used even wheat in any of the recipes. So it is, all are gluten free as well.
No
So
wheat, no
I
wheat, no
think
rice.
that's the, yes. So that's good. So I think last question we'll take, and then we'll wrap up. So I think very common question, that is, millet lifestyle costly? So can you answer this question,
Definitely, I can answer this question. It's
Pallavi?
a very interesting question. Thanks for asking. In the long run, millet lifestyle is definitely not costly. See, the thing is, I always say, if we can invest more into what's going into our systems in the first place, rather than spending money on medicines later, if you compare that cost, it's definitely not costly. 10 rupees more now per kg, vis-a-vis, so much money that you spend to make your system which spoils better later on by, chemical medication. I mean, if you compare the cost like that, it's definitely not costly. The second thing is, in terms of more practical things, the quantities that you're eating. For white rice, you need to eat almost double to feel full of, as vis-a-vis as compared to millet. So it's half of that. That's one of the aspects, and it's also more nutritious. So it's more nutrition in smaller quantity. So there again, you can do like a cost comparison vis-a-vis the nutrition and in fact even quantity that you're getting. And the third thing is that millets also, they expand more while cooking. So if you cook 1 cup of rice and 1 cup of white rice and 1 cup of millet, then you will see just how much it cooks in terms of quantity, because it needs more water to cook, so it becomes more. So there, I mean, if you compare all of these aspects, it's not really that much costly. And collectively, if we all push up the demand for millets, it's something that has gone out of our place. Farmers have stopped growing it. It is the quantities that are being grown are much lesser. So obviously there's a cost difference. But as people who are conscious about our health, conscious about our planet, conscious about farmers, we need to consider all of this to be change makers, to influence the kind of quantities that are needed so that farmers can grow more and it becomes as normal as wheat or paddy rice.
Great. I think we'll conclude the session. So as Pallavi said that consider, consumption of use, you'll go very deep down, you'll not find the cost difference is exaggerated, because we understand that there are certain economics which comes into play, because most of the wheat and rice in India is heavily subsidized. The lot of things get subsidized, so that also plays a role. So actual cost is actually higher, but due to subsidies and other things, the benefit is there. And other thing is, millet by default, uh, many of the millets which you get, or authentic millets you get, they are naturally grown and organic, with maybe no use or very minimal use of pesticides and fertilizers as compared to wheat and rice. So so that is a factor which people don't consider, but that is also an important factor. So we'll be sharing the recording once it is uploaded, maybe in a couple of hours. And we have already shared that course is priced only $7.99, exclusive offer to the webinar attendees, valid for 2 more days. And we'll be sharing the link and payment link and others in the WhatsApp group as well as on email. So thanks a lot for people who took time out,
Thank you, everyone.
and invested some of their time to our health, lifestyle, and the growing community for Millets for Health.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ankur and team
Thank
Wellcure, and
you.
the amazing participants.